Welcome to everyone on Twitch. I am your host today, Fallen, and also one of the replay reviewers. We have Mike with us today to give us some coaching and help get us out of our hard stuck ranks. We have our first review will be a high champ 1, low champ 2 review from Demonomster on the server. The second review will be myself, so feel free to make fun of me relentlessly, as it is a good time. But other than that, we do coaching on the server if anyone's interested. Type ! Discord if you're not on the server already to get a link, and then help the coaches. Obviously it's the easiest way to rank up. There's so many people among the old farts community who have skyrocketed in rank since joining the server. Myself, one of them. And with that, I'll let our glorious coach introduce himself and our first replay review.
Thank you very much, Fallen. I'm Mike from the Netherlands, in case no one picked it up from the first stream. I've been coaching on the server for about 2 years, and I joined the server thanks to Coffin's invite. Absolutely fantastic and love being on here. And like Fallen said, there's just so many good people on the server that will help you out. Even if it's not just coaches, there are just a lot of people that will give you solicited advice if you're always asking for it. And so with that said, we'll get straight into it. We've got our first person that we'll be reviewing is Denomster. How are you feeling about this replay, Denomster? Hello?
Wait, Mike, can you unmute yourself on Discord? I do not hear you.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah, I've been talking. I thought I was talking through vMix. Wait, did the stream pick up my introduction?
Yes,
the stream did. Yes, yeah.
Okay,
we just can't hear each other. So it's slight audio issues. So
yeah, that's fine. For some reason, I was just autopiloting on vMix, but that's fine.
No worries. Yeah, no, it's scuffed stream day. Well, actually, always scuffed stream day on the Old Farts channel. So.
Yeah. So what I asked Denomster is, how are you feeling about the replay that you sent?
I would say I felt pretty good. I felt like I was pretty focused this game, and definitely would like to get some pointers on where I can improve.
Yeah. And in general, what do you think that you do well in your ranked games, and what do you think you struggle with?
I think I do not go for the ball enough, and I kind of leave opportunities for the opponent team to kind of get the advantage on me. And what I think I do well is generally defense, kind of being a second level of support for my teammate.
Yeah. So you feel like you miss out a lot on the offensive aspect of the game?
Yes.
All right. That said, we will take a look into it. And so this replay review will be just a little bit different than the other one because this is a duo queue game. So I can show it with the tab function, so we can see that Faithful and Denomster are partied together. So there will be a comms factor that I will probably go over as we go over the replay. So just keep that in mind, that it won't be the same as the last ones, which were all solo queue games. All right, so kickoff was good, because Denomster does get possession. Just a bit unfortunate that it doesn't back off here. So this is just a little bit of a tricky situation, because one thing that we did pick up on with the kickoff is that the last man was pretty much AFK. Didn't go for boost, didn't cheat, so maybe just a temporary AFK. So, and the other thing is that Faithful went for corner boost, so we have to make sure that we're confirming that we're going to get a free ball here. So the best way to go about this situation is you align your car with your boost, and then this is the perfect moment to use your right stick just to make sure that you cover this peripheral vision over here. And so I think I mentioned it in the last replay review that right stick is just severely underutilized. And so if you can find these moments where you're pretty much aligned with what you want to do, like boost grabs, for example, or recoveries, that's the perfect time to start implementing right stick.
Cool, that makes a lot of sense.
So see that here, Faithful does get possession, so it's not the end of the world, and it's completely fine. Then this first touch here, like the idea is 100% correct to go for a pop into an aerial. It's just the execution was way too heavy. So like right here, you should be taking this at around, like, let's say half throttle, maybe full throttle max if you want to go for a faster play. But this is like getting towards a supersonic fringe. So you're going to pop this ball very aggressively, and you might be able to touch it way towards the end, but that gives way too much space for the opponents to challenge this. And so then when you do make this mistake where you pop it very aggressively, sometimes in your champ and even low GC lobbies, like the opponents are more concerned with what you're actually doing rather than if it is a good play. So you can utilize that mistake to pressure with a fake aerial. And then the question is, what do you do after the fake aerial? Depending on the situation, you might be able to just recover on the ground, bump the last man if you think that the first man will get a very bad save. But the safest play that you can do in this position is recover to the ground, fake a demo maybe, and then go for the corner boost. That would be the easiest free play. So the recovery was also a little bit off, which is fine. Do have to be a little bit careful here. So Faithful does get control of the ball, which is nice. Safe challenge. And so the thing that I like about this challenge is in some situations, you don't want to challenge when you're technically speaking last man, but in their peripheral vision, we can see that Faithful is rotating out of the play. And Nomster is also in a position to make at least contact on the ball. So this makes it actually a very safe challenge. Whereas if your teammate if you caught in your peripheral vision, your teammate goes for the corner boost, you'd probably want to opt more often into fake challenges. So this is definitely a really smart challenge from the Nomster. A little bit off. Yeah, I'll just pretty much say here that this is just a very technical play. I don't disagree with going up for it, but you do have to go up the wall just a little bit faster. So a lot of, like to try to keep it short and sweet on how you execute on these kind of plays is you want to be driving and boosting up more up the wall. And then when you actually jump off the wall, most of your vertical momentum to go to the ball will be coming from the friction on the wall. And then you can use the 60 boost that you have in the corner here to try to actually get a shot or whatever it is that you're looking for. And then you also, if you do it efficient enough, you're going to save enough boost as well for a recovery. So you don't want to be building a lot of the vertical momentum in the air. You'd rather do it on the wall first and then use the boost to actually try to fly for the ball. Nice challenge from Faithful. A very smart pad rotation as well, because Nomster sees that Faithful has pressure, so going for corner boost means that you might miss out on this opportunity. Very nice challenge as well. And
the screen just went kind of potatoed.
Yeah. Is the server set to Rotterdam still? Okay, that's weird. Might be something on my end.
Yeah, we'll double.
No, as in it's not set to Rotterdam?
Yeah, I had to reset it. It set itself back. It should be good now.
All right, cool. So we'll just go a little bit back here. I think maybe it messed up around the time that Denomster went for the challenge, I think.
I think so, yeah.
So this was just a smart play. When you see the double commit, you have so much value as a first man challenging that it's always worth it to go for that play. And then the only small thing here is I would try to do something productive to cover potential mistakes. So you could always say, oh yeah, this is an open net. Teammate should score it. But we've seen in champ lobbies that that's not always the case. So just try to do something productive, whether it's rotate behind your teammate or try to think, how will my teammate mess this up? And so I think with 100 boost, you can just use some of that to reposition. And then I think the worst case scenario is that it gets boomed to the corner again, which it's a bit unlikely, but I generally think that people will have a bad habit of smashing it into the crossbar. So that's just the worst case scenario that you can cover. And so just make sure that you don't like tunnel vision too much in the should aspect of the game. Your teammate should score that. The question is, will your teammate score that? This is fine. All right, Faithful should have some boost here. So now the Nomster has to be really careful because like this is something that I could see going very wrong. So we have a few factors that we've established off of this play. Is that Faithful cheated. Faithful went for that play without getting any of the mid boost. And the play that he went for was relatively boost intensive. So I would expect Faithful to be anywhere between 30 and 0 boost. It depends on how good his boost management is. So this play that's coming up in the corner right now is something where Denomster is either going to have to win or have to fake. So we're going to see what happens. So not a bad first touch to buy some pressure. And then unfortunate whiff coming in. So these are the plays that if you're this is probably just the same for every single rank. If you're putting yourself in this position, this is just a ball that you have to score. And that's just basically what it comes down to. So it was a very difficult technical play to go for, but because your teammate was out of the play, that you just have to end up going for the goal. Let's see. Oh, it's a bit of a rough kickoff. So Denomster will be low boost. I think for this position here, there's a few things that I would consider in this play. So this comes from playing 1v1s, because we don't really care too much yet about the second man in this play. So I do understand from this position that if this ball goes center and you mess up the challenge, you will concede. So that is something that you do have to factor in. But with the 1v1 mindset, you can do a few things to make your life a lot easier. For starters, you just have to understand how it is your opponent is going to score. And so we have a low boost situation, like a kind of scramble after a kickoff. So this guy does not have a lot of boost to create a lot of lift on the ball. So it's probably just going to be like a regular rolling ground shot. So this pad, really important, because you're almost always conceding the boost here. So that should be something that is never in your mind. But if you play a little bit further away, go for the pad first. Just make sure that you're always blocking your net here. You could bait the opponent into going for a shot, because champ players will fall for that, where just they see that they're first to the ball, technically, but they don't understand that the entire player is covered. And so it's just like a concept of, even when you don't have possession, you can have control of the play. I think that in this specific situation here, trying to bait your opponent to go for the shot would actually be a really smart idea, because then that means that you might be able to get this corner boost. And so we'll see how this pans out. And then this touch here is fine. And then I would just keep ball chasing. Just make sure that you go for the 50 in the corner, because the corner is a really advantageous place for defense. Nomster still did a pretty good job of making good on that play, forcing the opponent back, giving Faithful possession. Could flip around the field a little bit more aggressively, because I like that Nomster is going for pads here. But I think that you want to be also smart about it. And with smart, I mean is the first question, is my teammate getting challenged on the possession play? And if the answer is no, then this pad line right here is completely safe. And then you want to create a little bit of a buffer where let's say your teammate's on this line. You want to be on roughly, let's say, this line to just cover the 50-50 when it does happen. I don't think a passing play would ever be really good here, just because of how low boost the Nomster is. But I think now we're getting to the point where you're just a bit too far away. All right, this is a bit of a scramble. Nice block from Faithful. I want to make a small point of this here. So this is more so how it depends on how you see it. So I think if you're 44 boost, you're allowed to go for that mid boost, because again, we're in a situation where the opponents have complete control of the play. There's no one that is here on the sidewall to challenge. And so this play is something that you always will have to respect. And I think that in terms of efficiency, it's better if you get the mid boost and then challenge, or not necessarily challenge the play, but pressure the play. Just put a body on the field, make sure that the opponent is always guessing. And then Faithful can just get the corner boost, and then you can start doing something when the ball progresses to like the midline. So that's a bit more like medium long-term thinking on the play. I think like you're maybe just a little bit too considerate with how generous you are giving your teammate boost. Let's see here, start pushing up. So that was a really good block from Faithful, because I think you pushed up a little bit too early. So we're just going to see here. Never ever go for this. So we're going to see what happens. Good fake and back off. Difficult play. Yeah, so one small thing I want to talk about as well in the whole thing that led up to this situation is if you look back on this, is there anything you would have done differently going back to your half to Nomster?
I think I would have tried to shadow a little closer.
Yeah. And then one other small thing is we went from a position where you have a lot of boost. So you got this corner boost. Like the turn here is really tricky. So this is again like a technical play. You can be forgiven for that. But pressuring it is actually not even a bad idea if you're not going to challenge it. But so with 100 boost here, you're feathering a lot of boost on your way back. And you see how long it took you to get supersonic with what looks like it was around 40 boost.
Yeah,
So
indeed.
there's like two ways you go about it. It's like you either have to full boost because full boost accelerates you faster, gets supersonic faster with less boost, or you just add a flip somewhere in there when you think you're not going to go for the ball. It's like this, I would say from this backboard position, you probably should have had, if I'm completely honest, about 60 to 70 boost because using some of your boost to get back to your half is completely fine. I just think that you wasted quite a lot of boost on the recovery, but also moving back. Caught between a rock and a hard place. It's good positioning here from Denomster, covering where the ball will probably go off the opponent's touch. Just maybe this touch could be a little bit better. I think just as a general rule of thumb, if you have a free ball here, I think single jumping into it is completely fine, and then maybe using your flips to chase after the ball, or just single jump and try to land on the ground for a wave dash, something like that. I feel like the flip is just a little bit too overkill because you can't actually get a second touch or a 50-50 on it. Bit tight. I don't dislike the idea of keeping pressure the way you are. I think that if we look just a little bit further back, that you could have just done this rotation a little bit wider. I feel like this is getting a little bit too tight. Because one of the advantages of going just a little bit wider is you get to have more momentum when the 50-50 actually does come through. So that would be step one. So like what you're doing in a very simplified way is you're going to where you should be, which you will have to be here at some point, but you're going to be there too early, and then you're going to be slow, and that's one of the issues that you'll have. And then one of the other advantages that you have with rotating wider is as you keep moving away from the play, you're going to see a bit more of the field, and then you're going to check how your opponent is defending. With opponent, I mean the one that's actually in the net. So that's something that you can consider as well with moving wider and faster. And then you can see that guy actually pushed out of the net, and then this doesn't catch you off guard, and then you'll be ready for this ball. Ooh, this is a very deadly touch. Hopefully Faithful gets this. Okay, just don't get demoed. Yeah. All right, I think the guy boomed it back, so we're still completely fine here. Good patience. I think for this touch here, I like the patience, but I think that you could keep your flip for this ball if you do want to clear it. I think that your flip will last long enough where you can get a nice hard and high hit on it, and then you can try to follow up on it again.
Yeah, there I was
And
trying to go for light possession touch, but I'm still practicing that.
okay. Yeah, this is a really difficult position because the guy's directly behind the ball, or let's say when you're going to go for the ball, the guy will be directly behind it. So I think that hitting away is generally speaking the better play most of the time. It's not always ideal that you don't get full possession afterwards, but you don't want to get a 50-50 going on by going for a light touch. And if you go for light touches, you'd probably have to be a little bit closer to the ground, because a light touch is only useful when you're actionable again. And actionable means that you actually land on the ground, have a flip, have the ability to jump again. It's not always the case. If you know how to air dribble this would also be a fine play, but this is such a difficult play to air dribble that I wouldn't expect people to know how to do it. All right, let's see. Now this is where the light touch would have been really handy. And also right stick again here. I mean, I could see with the peripheral vision that the guy moved away from the play. So this play, you don't even have to go for the shot here. You could just do a weak single jump, boost into it a little bit, just get a nice weak light touch, and then you have a nice ground play that you can go for. And one of the small thing I would probably recommend doing from this far away, so this guy is pretty much half a pitch away from the play, is if you're going to control this ball, I would try to probably go for a bounce setup. So like Denomster alluded to, just a light touch, because a bounce just gives you way more options than a carry on the car. So I think that would be the correct play here. Two people out of position. All right, this is fine because Uchicha completely messes up the ball. Good recovery. Good that you don't go for that. Faithful is a little bit out of position on the near post, and that guy misses the open net. Nice. Only a small complaint I'll give about this play is you have to be a lot more aggressive on your first touch. So if you're going to touch it like that, don't even think about break tapping or anything to see what the ball's doing. Just know that you're hitting it in the general direction of the net, and that you probably just need one more touch to seal the deal. So like this is this is really important to know as well for champ players in general. Is when you're talking about open nets, the speed of the play is more important than controlling the ball, because even if you miss this open net, you still have a rebound. So as long as you put like a nice high hit that doesn't hit anywhere on the ramp, you always have a backboard rebound that you can get on the open net. So you don't have to be too worried about precision, and rather pacing of the play is way more important than controlling the ball. And then one other thing as well that is important is I personally am a fan of having confidence to shoot open nets. And I would say maybe for stuff like rank up games, controlling the ball is fine. But as a general principle, you want to be shooting almost every open net you can get, because you need to be able to do that in most situations. And if you're not confident in that ability because you're worried about messing up, you're not going to do it when it actually matters. Like when you're 1 goal down with 10 seconds left, you're not going to like have the confidence to hit that clear into their net from your half. So that's why I generally make a point out of it. You should shoot your open nets. It doesn't matter if you can roll it in. It's a good boost grab. I do like the boost grab, just again, could be a little bit faster. So with faster, it would be boost first and then flip, and not flip then boost. You want to be, yeah. So the reason why the mobility was so important here, just moving around the map faster to make sure that you're actually rotating around the ball wide enough. And if you're going to shoot this as well, what would you never do, or what should you never do when you're like shooting from these wider angles?
Can't say I know.
Double jump. And
Okay.
this one, you double jumped for it. So that's probably if you had to like make a tier list of like what are the bad habits of a lot of champ players, it's probably excessive double jumping, I would say. And this is one of the best examples, because you need that flip to be able to reposition the ball on a wide angle.
Okay.
Very nice. That's a good finish. There's also, like, obviously flips are pretty good for adding power to the play, but in that specific wide angle, it was really important to keep your flip just to make sure that you can force it to the left. Very nice turn back. I'm curious how you play this. Yeah. So this is a tough play, but one thing that I would be really, really careful with is like everything that you're doing is really good in terms of like the starting part of the play. Because one thing that we've established is that the ball is moving roughly towards your backboard / corner, and you're moving in such a way that you can maintain this line between your ball and the car. So like now, because you know where your car is going, you just like obviously shift that read towards where the ball is, and then from there you can kind of figure out what the ball is doing. So we can establish the ball trajectory based on this kind of movement. But then what you have to start doing is you have to take an initiative to start putting a body behind the ball rather than focusing too much on the read itself, because like the opponent actually just sees that you don't have the ball. Even though you technically have the read, you don't have the positioning for the ball. Mm-hmm. So we're just going to see. Yeah. So like that's what it looks like from the opponent's POV. So like the way you're moving, good for reading the ball, but then you have to do something with that read to make sure that the opponent just doesn't get a free hit. Playing for clear. I don't dislike playing for clear. I would say, I mean, I will just ask you the question from this position. So how often can you get this ball to your teammate that's this wide, Denomster?
If the opponent didn't hit it, I would say no. It's pretty shitty because you're right against the wall, not enough momentum.
Yeah, it's a really tough ball to pass, and we also want to think of Rocket League in terms of like an efficiency game. So if the tighter that you play on this pass, the easier it is for your teammate to get like a different set of outcomes that are still beneficial to you. Because like we put by your positioning, which is across the goal to goal midline, you put your teammate in a position where there's only like, let's say, one or two really good outcomes that allow you to score this open net. Whereas if you played tighter, which is on the same half as your teammate, then all of a sudden there's like anywhere from like 5 to 8, just like different types of touches that will still allow you to score this. And so like, that's like two ways I like going about it, is just asking like, can you do this yourself? Because you see what the good play is, and that's not the issue. But you have to ask yourself, can my teammate actually execute on this play that I have in mind? Nice try. I just want to see you going up for this. Yeah, never go up for this. Yeah, your teammate had a nice air dribble. So you might have been able to score that, might not. I would say probably the maybe not. But you could get possession off that play from Faithful. All right, it's good rotation. Just keep it nice and easy. Just see what the opponent does, and you respect it. Played a little bit too close, though, but I would say the general idea is, I would say in terms of like what you had in your head was actually a good play. I would say like a few things on execution that I would have done differently is play just a little bit tighter again, cover the sidewall rebound. And if you also cover from more towards the sidewall, a lot of the hits that go here mean that you have an open net. Whereas here, only the touch that goes behind this guy flying for it is an open net. So again, just a difference in terms of positioning, giving you more options. Good turn. This is really smart, by the way. I like that you go for a boost over ball, or that you set it up in such a way that you can. It's just a bit unfortunate that it worked out this way. But the idea was definitely correct. And then here I'll try to like flip into the ball just to add a bit more speed. Because like if you side flip here or diagonal flip, you're gonna push the ball somewhere along these lines, and then you should be able to get the boost here. And then if you do it really well, this is where you'll be meeting the ball on this corner here. But again, right idea, just bad execution. And that was a good shot from the opponent. All right, fake kickoff. Good clear. All right. Yeah, so I think similar thing here, just playing a little bit too wide. So this turn maybe could have arguably been a little bit faster, but I think in Champ it's fair that you sometimes have to cover for whiffs. So it's a little bit in that murky area that I can't really make a definitive judgment. I would say it depends a bit on the skill level and how consistent your teammate is with those clears. And then with here, I would not tunnel too hard again on playing for the far post pass, because the far post pass is a little bit on the trickier side to execute, and it's very limiting when the opponent's going to challenge this. So what we see here on that Uchiha does have the inside track on the play, meaning that we'll probably get first touch. It doesn't mean that Uchiha is going to win the play, but Uchiha is primed for first touch on the play. So that's something you want to keep in mind, and that's why playing tighter is almost always better here. And so it does get it. Faithful played a little bit too close, but this is something that you could have covered. And then this here.
So in that instance, when you say play tighter, where would I be?
Yeah, I'll show with the handy dandy cam. You'd want to be like somewhere here. Just again cover it, because again you can like almost any rebound. Like I'm thinking in like 50-50 terms. A rebound that goes, let's say here, because Faithful touches it goes like that in front of the net. If it's a corner hit, it goes like that, and then it's still here again. So there is just more variable outcomes that tend to favor the near post positioning over the far post. Like the far post is a play that you go for when your teammate has uncontested possession. So then your teammate has two really good options. Teammate has just a near post shot that is very difficult to save, and your teammate also can fake out the defender and go for the far post pass. But that premise only works with uncontested possession.
Okay.
You got a little blurry again.
Yeah. I think Discord is trying to get me to buy Prime or something.
Yep, that's good.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
So
Okay,
back to this corner play. This is what you could have covered.
One thing I do want to bring up is that I have the mentality of like the reason why I go wide is because I want to cover as much of the field as possible, kind of like just controlling the field. And I feel like that's not what I should be doing.
No. Because, so, out of curiosity, do you have a sports background?
Not really.
Okay, because I've seen this with people that I've coached that have a sports background, where like this would be like football/soccer mentality, where like you intentionally going for parts of the field that are uncontested is a good thing to do. But that's because there is no 3D access in football because people do not have jetpacks to fly for the ball in the air. And so you want to think of it as you're going to be you're trying to beat people to the ball constantly, and that's why tight positioning is almost always better. Because if you have a good position that is less awkward than the opponent defending, you're going to be able to beat them to a lot of these rebounds.
Okay, that's gonna change a lot for me.
Yeah, and like let's say in some situations as well, your teammate takes a shot. Like sometimes, like if you look at RLCS, you see like the shot come through, and then it gets intercepted by a teammate that turns it into an even better shot. So like that's kind of how more so how passing works in Rocket League. Like you're a multiplying factor to a already deadly play. Like sometimes passes are just like 2v1s, and then that's pretty easy. But I've seen a lot of shots that just get turned into redirects, which is pretty insane. That's again just the mindset of constantly positioning yourself in such a way that you can challenge the ball instantly and beat other people with the ball.
Okay.
And and one thing I want to highlight about this play as well is this play would have been really good if you did not jump into the ball, because then you get the same rebound that you're looking for, and then you can try to jump for it when it comes off the sidewall. But it's a very difficult play to go for. But you can see that the single jump there messes up your recovery. So if we look back at this play, what do you think you could have done different with the information that you have now?
I still don't know. I feel like I would always want to kind of stay back.
I would
because...
rotate wider back post, but
no. That's
I'm
that's
also
incorrect.
an idiot, so
Yeah, no. Someone has to challenge this because it's just getting too dicey. Because one thing that we've established from this movement is Faithful is completely uninterested in the ball, and we don't want this guy to get it to the midline for free. And so you want to take a tighter rotation, preferably starting at this pad, puts you in a really good position to fake challenge. And if you see an opportunity, you go for the actual real challenge. The only thing is, what do you do after the real challenge with 40 boost? We don't know because we're not really we're not mediums, but we just want to play for value. Where if the fake challenge will almost always happen in most situations. But again, if we see something fishy going on, you can go for the real challenge, and you might just have an open net. But this guy has to keep guessing. Because like right now, all he's using his brain for is controlling the ball and trying to get it to your half. But if he has to like do that and also factor in if this this Chad in the breakout is going to go for a real challenge, then it puts more technical execution on him. And so that's what you want to keep in mind, where like these tighter rotations are really good, because then he's not allowed to do this, because like this is now just like a custom training setup, because he's doing a 2v0, or sorry, he's doing a 1v0 setup right now. So this is something that he's practicing custom training. He's never had to practice this against an actual person challenging. And it's now gotten a bit to the point where we got a double commit because you're a bit worried. And I would say, by the way, that it was Faithful's ball, just as a reference point. But I think that on the ground, there should have been some challenge on that bounce so that it doesn't get a free air dribble. Nice block. Could have kept ball chasing here off the corner. So, I mean, we've seen this twice now. So I'm just curious if you have any input on what it is you think that holds you back from chasing out of these corners.
Oh, I get beat so many times where like I'll think that I will get a touch and get a second one, and I basically end up in the corner with no ball and no touch, with the now opponent putting it towards my net. So
Okay. And do you think it's because your reads in the corners are not that great, or do you just or is there anything else going on there?
Honestly, I can't say because I've stopped going for them. So like I just pretty much stopped going for them. So I don't even try.
Okay. Because I think like if we just say on a black and white thing. If you're guaranteed last man, what you're doing here is actually really smart, just backing off the play and then waiting for the guy to hit it into the corner. But the thing is that the guy has no shooting angle, and Faithful is already rotating. So you want to pressure the ball to make sure that the play comes out earlier, and then Faithful can cut the rotation and not go back post to make sure that he covers the ball that you forced off the opponent's hands. So I think that just generally you could probably spend a bit more time trying to pressure the opponents on the corner. And the thing is, like, you don't have to actually commit on them. But again, putting the body just means that the opponent's going to get a worse touch because they're too worried about getting 50-50. So they're changing the way they're hitting the ball because they see someone in front of them. And that happens to me as well. If I see someone in front of the ball and they don't go for it, I could have just told myself I had an open net, or I could tell myself I had to play like I was going to take a 50-50. So it's the difference between just changing how the opponent actually touches the ball as well. Very difficult play. Nice try. Do want to maybe check this. Yeah, I would say that you're probably just doomed here most of the time. I think the only small thing that you could do is try to defend this outside the net and play like your teammate might miss this because it's a very difficult read. But then the problem is that if it's bar down, then you're conceding anyway. So it's a really difficult position. So I won't really hold it too much against you. I just think maybe something in the corner would have been the most helpful way. Kickoff, not the worst. Hopefully it pops up. Yeah, okay, so this guy can't score it. All right, we've got some panic going on. Overtime. Okay, go boost first. I like the going for boost first. I think that what you want to do is try to keep ball cam on because then it gives you a guideline on how to reposition. Because I'm not 100% sure if you're going for the demo in the corner or if you just like having ball cam off for these kind of reads. But the nice thing with ball cam on is it's easy for you to see how much your turn is affecting your ability to get behind the ball. It's like you're creating these two different lines where the ball's going to go this way. And then when you see that the ball starts to cross, then you know that you can start turning into it like this and maybe try to do something here.
Okay. Yeah, for me, it's easier to read it with the ball cam off.
Okay. Nice 50. Could recover a lot faster because I think that you're almost always going back post here. So you could just dump a lot of your boost on your recovery. Maybe if you're lucky, you get the mid boost, but you're always getting that corner boost anyways. And so now you do get the mid boost, which is fine. You could just be here a little bit faster. All right. Oh, you're taking way too much time. This guy could have easily gone again. I think he backed off because he thought that you were going to beat him. But I think here on that bounce, you took way too much time.
Could you take it back to that? I want to see how it looked.
So you see this touch here. Yeah, so see, he gets the time to recover, he gets the time to reposition, but I think that he's just playing like, he's just playing like you're going to beat him every single time. So you see this? Yeah. So
yeah, to be honest, I was worried he was going to beat me, so I was waiting for the second touch. And I just thought he backed off, so I went for it.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a really dicey turn. We can talk about this. I think I covered it a lot last week. So there's like two things going on here. So this touch is really good for Faithful. And then here I would start slowing down a little bit because just in the back of my mind, if Faithful flicks this early and he does get a good 50 to 60 mile per hour flick on this, it's going to come off backboard really fast or sidewall. And then it's going to be here. So like it's going to arrive at this point in the rebound really, really fast. So you don't want to be too close with a lot of momentum because otherwise you have to like pull out your zoomer reflexes just to touch the ball. So you could already just start slowing down, give yourself some space on the potential read. And in this case, not much happens. But I think where the play falls apart a little bit is when you cross to the opposite side of the field again. Because this part of the field is way better for you to get all these fake challenges and also covering your teammate getting outplayed. So we'll see here, Faithful gets this touch and you're a bit too far away. But so far, no harm, no foul, but it is getting dicey because I think both of you guys are low boost. And yeah, Uchiha does the right play, stealing boost. So we're going to see what happens here. Playing too wide again. You should be covering 50-50 here, and you should also cover your teammate getting demoed. Yeah. Too far away. And yeah, you see, now this is what you miss out by playing too far away, because now you can't challenge this guy when he pops the ball. Would not commit for that. And the reason why I would not commit for that is because your recovery was really slow. Because let's say for reference, where's my mouse? Your momentum was going this way, but your car is oriented this way. So this already messes up your recovery if you're not holding power slide. But the other thing is that your teammate got demoed, just respawned maybe a second or two ago. And so probably got the 100 boost as well, which slows down the play even more. So if you mess this up, it is always a 2v1 for your teammate. So I would just probably never go for this. Mm-hmm. So we're just going to see what it looks like from your teammate's POV. See, he gets the boost here. And then this happens, and now there's all these different things going through his mind. Okay, the 1v1 Uchiyo, is TMW Mao going to go for the demo after his teammate gets possession? So this becomes incredibly awkward now, just for thing. But yeah, they misplay it, so it doesn't matter. It's a bit of a moot point, but you want to think of those plays in terms of potential, though. Like, what's the potential value that the opponent gets off of you not getting the touch that you're looking for? 50-50 is dicey. Nice. Bit unfortunate. Ooh. Yep. It's a very unfortunate way to lose. I would say probably just two things that go into this. So this dodge is okay. I would prefer that you single jump a little bit earlier and then keep your flip. That's ideal. And then, yeah, the only other thing is what I tell people in this exact situation where their teammate's doing a goal line defense, if they miss, it always goes in the net. And there's no way that you can rotate fast enough from this position to cover the ball going into the net. So what you have to do from these positions is just know your what is it called again? It's not called the sphere of influence. There's like this diagram term. I can't remember what it's called. But we'll just say what your span of control is. So we will say that anything that Faithful completely whiffs is out of your control. And if it goes in, so be it. It sucks to lose like that, but that's just the way it is. So what you're always doing from this position is you're not rotating to net. You're just seeing how your teammate's going to hit the ball, and hopefully you're in a good position to try to get the follow-up clear. Because like we can see from your movement, it's not so that you're more focused on if your teammate is going to touch the ball and not how your teammate is going to touch the ball. So you see how you keep moving to net after the touch? That tells me you're more focused on the if and not so much the how. And yeah, this is really unfortunate. But yeah, I would say all in all, pretty decent gameplay. I think there's, I think if I want to keep it short and sweet in terms of like a summary, it's probably the ball control aspect of like how hard you drive into the ball and whether or not you should be jumping to get the touch on the ball. Rotations being a lot tighter, I think would be the best way to improve your gameplay, and also just generally upping the speed on some of your map movement. And then other things like keeping your flip, or like that's something that you can practice in free play and various custom trainings, is try to practice keeping your flip as long as possible for certain types of shots.
Okay.
And I'll just do one thing just for the fun of it. How high do you think I can get while still keeping my flip? Like just use any part of the map as like a reference.
Let's see. Next to the goal, so the third kind of metal sticky thing.
Like so one of these you're talking about?
Yep.
Yeah. So what if I told you can get way higher than that while keeping your flip?
Yeah, I would say like above backboard.
Oh, by boosting. Okay.
Yeah. But you can see that you can keep your flip for such an immensely long time. Most people do not know this, but you can keep your flip for above crossbar height. So you should be able to get above the outline of the goal if you're doing your aerial properly every time.
Okay.
So that's something that you
longer
can
if you
practice.
hold it.
Yeah.
We have one question from chat when there's a good time. Just a general question. How do you determine when to flip into the ball versus single jump?
Is it about 50-50s?
I assume it's about 50-50s, but I think it's from Kato. Last year, so it'll be like diamond, so probably 50-50s and like.
So,
generally, like I would guess challenging, like you just basically like I would assume it's like if you're far away, like save your flip kind of stuff. But I'll wait for a clarification in chat if we have
yeah,
one.
so I mean, I can do both. So I will assume that it might be based on the context that I was talking about with not jumping on various like ground plays that Denomster went for. I would say ideally you almost never jump for a lot of these balls. So if you can just do this driving, then you keep your ability to be actionable longer. And so again, actionable means that you can jump, you can flip, you can do all these things. So like as soon as you're like, let's say doing this, like I'm not actionable anymore in terms of like having all this various mobility options. I can just do what I'm set out for, and I'm limited to that first thing that I'm committing to. Whereas if you like get good at, let's say what you practice is this, just getting good at these timings where you just practice driving into the ball off these bounces, you're gonna have like way more options. So like if I did not jump into that, I would not have the ability to shoot. And I'll show what it looks like if I do jump for this. So let's see. So like, let's say we have this play right here. I do this. I can't really do much anymore after that. And what happens more often than not with champ players in particular is that if they do jump for the ball, their momentum takes them in such a way that they will end up jumping into the sidewall, which is really bad for a rebound. So like, let's say I do this. You see I land on the sidewall after the rebound happens, which means I can't do anything. So if you can, just always practice staying grounded as long as possible because it's going to help you a lot. And then with a lot of these touches, just try driving into the ball and getting good at these power hit timings. So it's like a little bit of like a bounce dribble kind of style training, just practicing driving into the bounce. And
it was unchallenging, so when challenging.
I think as often as possible, I'll see if I have any replays for reference. I almost always single jump on my challenges, and I think it's just almost always better. This one. Yeah, so this is I think at the time this was 1800 for reference, but I think these guys end up rage quitting. It's maybe not the best game.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just, this is just a stomp, I think.
Are you in a meeting?
No, I'm in a call.
I'll try one more replay, but otherwise, I would have to like explain it in more detail.
Yeah, I think it's okay. You'll probably find some in my replay.
Yeah. But yeah. Also, in the meantime, do you have any other questions, Demonster?
I actually need to leave like immediately, so I have to go.
Yeah, I think you explained it pretty well. I will definitely be working on keeping a tighter positioning to my teammate.
Like 56 minutes, but
yeah. And then, I think in terms of technical aspects, there's a few things here and there that you can work on, but it's always like a work in progress.
At 450.
So, that's just part of the eternal grind of Rocket League. But I think overall, like definitely the potential is there because I think that in general, outside of like a few of the technical ways you play the game, you don't overcommit a lot, which is pretty good for Champ 1, Champ 2. I feel like most people in that MMR overcommit way too much.
It's funny you say that.
All right, yeah, we're probably going to get into it. I'm going to be quite curious about this.
I tried to find one where I lost. It was difficult. I think generally my problems is that I play defense like a Diamond 2, and I play offense like High Champ. So when I get scored on, it's because it's a massively stupid thing. So if I like go down by a couple, normally my teammate just forfeits immediately. So it's hard to get a replay where I lose. All right.
Yeah, so I think, like, I can't really explain it with the 50-50 because I haven't found any games where I have a lot of good 50-50s. But I'll show you again, like, the power of just driving into the ball. So I went from a position where if I jump for this, I have to always go for that corner rebound. And that just makes my life really difficult. But just by driving into this ball and knowing and trusting that I know how the physics works. Yeah. Am I unmuted?
No, you were never muted. I muted Knobster because he's talking in the background.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. But yeah, so
Yeah,
I
well,
was
not
just
muted,
saying
but-
that like this is like the best example, at least I can give on the offensive aspect, where if you just get better at driving into the ball, you're going to be able to have these situations where you're just not committing very hard. So like if again like the way that you have to do those sidewall plays with jumping on the rebounds is that you have to set it up in such a way that you can flip into it again, which is it's a very high technical and read based play. So if you can drive into the ball, it just makes your life a lot easier. Yeah, so here we have the last replay of the evening / afternoon for all the US folks. We'll take a look at this. So we did have a different winner for the replay review, but I'll be doing that personally because unfortunately the person lives in Australia, and that is a pretty difficult time zone to work around for both European and NA people on the server. So I decided, as a sign of gratitude for Fallen, we will be going over his replay as the last one.
All right.
All right, kickoff really, really good, by the way. We're going to take a look at it. I think your jump and flip is a little bit too early, but everything else looks pretty clean. So you see how you land, and then you have to like instantly jump, and then you're really low on the ball. And so you're winning this kickoff really hard because you're way faster than your opponent. So that's a really good sign off the bat that you're way faster than your opponent. So this is something that you can probably leverage for the rest of the game in this MMR. So if you see that you're beating your opponent this bad on a, let's say, less than optimal kickoff, every time you get kickoff, it's a free goal, or almost a free goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here you could move up just a little bit earlier.
Yeah, normally I don't stay that far away, but Solar Q, I didn't know he's taking mid boost or if he was cheating or not, so it took me longer to get back. I probably should get grab some pads.
All right. We're going for the style. I like it. Nice shot.
Thank you.
I've seen Fallen post a lot in I think it's the mechanics training tips tutorial, whatever it's called, channel. And you've been working a lot on your air dribbles.
I have.
So here, this is what I was talking about. So you see now Fallen is in a position where he's completely actionable here. He doesn't have to like fly to the corner and then try to get some sick recovery and go for another hit. You can just hit this again, and then it's completely actionable. I would say the only thing that I would prefer is if you hit the ball just a little less wide, more wide into the sidewall rather than the corner. But I mean, this is fine. So we got the prime objective, which is probably getting the corner boost. I would say that probably has the highest priority over anything. Very nice demo. Nice. Good play. So Fallen is off to a really good start. And also, for reference, I want to say this is is it low to mid champ 3?
It's 1360, yeah. Mid.
Perfect, because that's one thing I want to highlight, which is a little bit different playing in lower champ lobbies. So like with lower champ, I mean like low champ 1 or low champ 2 even. The higher you get, the more agency you can give your teammate, and you can go for like the intangible stuff. So like what Fallen is doing, for example, is he's leaving his teammate alone to go for stuff like demos and boost steals. The higher you get, the more you're allowed to do that. So you decide to go for boost here, which is fine. Just cover this net. Okay, your teammate, I'm pretty sure your teammate did not get boost, so just be a bit careful here.
Yeah.
First touch is pretty good. Ooh.
Yeah,
yeah. So
back to it.
Yeah, I think it should not have flipped.
Or I should have speed flipped if I was going to flip it all.
Yeah, there's actually 2 things going into this play that I want to talk about, because I did talk about it last week. Is number one is you should be full boosting to supersonic off of this touch, and preferably you hit this with a speed flip. That would be ideal, but not necessary. Yeah. So you should be boosting to get supersonic ASAP, because you only get supersonic on the ground, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, right there, right before you flip.
Yeah.
And then what you actually, because you're full boost, you actually don't need to flip for this. You're better off full boosting.
Yeah, I didn't know you could. So you can only get supersonic on the ground? I actually didn't know that.
Oh, no, it's not that.
Sorry.
But that's when you got your supersonic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got your supersonic on the ground.
Way too late.
Yeah. Because you want to be building whatever you want to call it. You're just essentially pacing on this ball. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
And then what you don't want to do on open nets with 100 boost is you don't want to flip for it.
Yeah, because then I could have at least if I know I'm not getting to it, there's also no one there. I don't really do well with my right stick as well.
Yeah.
But what I could have, I guess, also done is check, and like that's obviously not hitting the corner. So I could have just read it off the wall instead of trying to chase it.
The thing is, though, is that you can
missed.
chase it, and the reason why it's so important to not use your flip is because flips can clip you into the ground. So what happened here, I'm pretty sure, is you clip into the ground a little bit with your diagonal flip or front flip.
Oh.
And so
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, so for a lot of these open nets, just don't full boost like a maniac. Like just get top speed supersonic, feather, I think it's 7 boosts per second, I think is to maintain top speed. And then just from there, keep an eye out between this line, between your ball and the car. Because if this line starts to shorten, it means you're catching up to the ball. And then one thing I talked about, I think in the last replay review, is friction is a factor. So if you're getting closer and then this ball hits the ground, this will create a nice impulse where the ball will slow down quite a good amount. So you might be able to snipe it as it gets to like this part of the wall. Yeah. So I'm going to see how this pays out.
Which is what I tried to do. This was too far. Yeah. I lost my flip because I didn't hold jump.
No, you double jumped
into it at the end. Yeah. Oh, is that what I did? Yeah. It's the same mistake. Always just double jumping too much.
Yeah, you double jumped. I heard the second jump. So it's rotation. Rotation is actually pretty good. I think that you can just play it a little bit more calmly and try to see where you can get the pad lines. I don't think you have to you don't have to go too much out of your way to give your teammates space. You just see what your teammate's doing, and then make sure that you take the good pad line that allows you to cover your net, but also get the boost. So now you're moving a little bit too far away because I think you put a little bit too much emphasis on getting out of your teammate's way to give space.
Yeah.
A little bit unnecessary. I don't think I would just. Sorry.
It's also terrible recovery.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I would never really go for this as like a shot is you can do a different thing though if you insist on touching the ball. I think double jumping into it might be a bit better because it's easier to hit the low part of the ball because like you'd really want to snipe somewhere here, pop it really high to somewhere here. Makes it that much harder for your teammate to go, or it makes it easier for your teammate to go.
And that's what I was going to. I was just trying to get it off the wall over him, but then it was just like after that, like if I flipped into it, like I'm not going to recover fast enough for me to get back for them to go anyway. So it was just sort of pointless.
Yeah, because what flipping does when you're this close to the wall is it's going to mess up your recovery. We're going to bonk. It's going to slow us down a lot. So when you double jump for those kind of balls that are really close to the wall, you recover way faster. It just doesn't look cool. I think that's why people don't do it. Oh, yeah. Pretty good stuff so far. Teammate!
I know. I was so sad.
That could have just been, like, even if you don't score that, if you hit it backward, it's an open net. So I think teammate really dropped the ball there.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of dropping the ball.
Yeah, so I do so many speed flips that I flip cancel way too early on half flips and it doesn't actually do anything.
Yeah.
That was tragic.
Yeah, I think either way, I think just backing off here is probably the better play. Like, because like the way you're moving,
you're not turning.
You're not turning away from the play. So I like that you kind of like push up and potentially threaten like a double jump aerial, and then you should just like pretty much have it in the back of your mind that I'm beelining towards the goal line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because the fake challenge is almost only as a...
I get scored on like Diamond 1 style. It's pretty bad.
The thing that you have to keep in mind with fake challenges is the fake challenge is only as effective as it is when you can actually back off. Like if you have a fake challenge without the contingency plan, it's not a fake challenge anymore. It's an overcommit.
Yeah.
Nice bump. Good touch. A bit unfortunate that it chipped. That's probably like a bit of a server issue. All right, this is going to be tough. I think that you should have gone up for this, though.
That's what I thought immediately after. Right as I saw him airline for it, I was like, I fucked up.
Yeah. Because the thing that's nice is
he's got the double across.
The double what, sir?
He got the double to get it across. Because I was trying to read off of him touching it once, and that it would kind of roll out over and like trying to get something. But yeah, it's trying to read the wall and him off the wall is way more difficult than just going and trying to meet him at the wall.
Yeah. I think just the thing that's why I like going for these balls is because your objective to play this out is really easy. Because you already have the setup that forces it into the corner, because you're coming from the goal line to the ball that is near the corner. So like any touch or any breath on the ball pretty much forces it into the corner again. Whereas this guy, the execution burden is way higher, because this guy has to either A, score this, or B, hit it so hard and pop it out in such a way that doesn't go in front of your net for a free clear. So there's just like all these factors that your opponent has to think about just to touch this ball. Whereas you just have to go Hulk smash on the ball.
Yeah, and I reversed the scenario of me having to think more by not going for it.
Yeah.
I think.
If you had more boost, I think then you can make a better claim for like letting the opponent hit the ball. Especially if you see how tight it is, that it's not scoreable. I think when you're low boost, though, it's better to go for it, because then you don't have to try to react to him pushing it infield.
Yeah.
Nice try, difficult. Yeah. This rotation could be a bit faster with boost, then flip instead of flip.
Yeah.
So again, because the problem with this rotation right now is that you're missing the opportunity to cross the field because of how slow it is.
Yeah, and then I was too slow to cut off the angle when you get the bump.
Yeah.
Which is actually, he did a nice shot.
Yeah.
But I could have positioned better, eliminated that.
Yeah, and I think that we see some similarities between how you rotate and also how Denomster rotated. Is that you opt a lot for these wider rotations, whereas when I'm going for the rotation here, my first thought is middle pad line.
Yep, cut in. Yeah.
Just give yourself the opportunity, because like we see that just before the frame switches to you switching your ball cam off, I'd see a fake challenge opportunity. So like right as the ball comes down, and then your opponent has to try to start controlling that. That is where you have so much leverage for fake challenge, just because if your opponent forces it up the wall again, well, yeah, then he has to go for an aerial play. Aerial play in Champ 3 means overcommit in most cases. So,
usually, yeah. And then, like, that's a ones thing, too. Like, I would want to take an inside line and shadow defense, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, it's something I need to work on. I do need to play more ones.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, you want to think of it this way, is that, like, I would say maybe not so much in this rank, but if you get to GC, in a lot of cases, you're generally expected to lose the challenge, but you're forcing the opponent to give away possession, so that's why tighter rotations are better in that MMR, because one guy forces the giveaway possession, and the other one collects it.
Right.
All right, nice shot from teammate. So pretty cool back and forth. 6 goals in 2 minutes. And it looks like it starts to wind down a little bit.
Yeah, my games are high scoring because of the bad positioning and defense parts.
Yeah. All right, teammates overcommitting. So
that's why I went down.
Yeah, exactly. I would have. Yeah, nice. Yeah, so that's exactly what you did. You get to the ground ASAP. That's really good. Just don't get bumped here.
And then I went way too slow. Got bumped. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. No, I saw it coming. It was. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's tough to say, because this is not really like a great play that you can go for. I actually think that a pass in this position would not be half bad, because if you pass, you give your opponent an easy inside line to actually beat the opponent to the ball. And then because you're flipping so you hit the ball that way, you're flipping this way, you're actually putting yourself for a pass back potentially, or even a demo.
Yeah, he was like very like, so when I was playing with him, like he was very like, I tried it a couple times to pass it to him, but he like full boosts like all the way back for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah. So this guy plays more of the get behind your teammate style.
He does, yeah.
All right, it's fine. First touch is actually really good. Early flick was a bit unnecessary, but it's fine. Just because the opponent was backwards.
Yeah, he fake challenged me.
Yeah. The thing is, though, is that he was a little bit too far away for the actual fake challenge. If he was closer, like, flick it early every day of the week. It's not worth the risk of getting dunked. But he was so far away that the only way that he actually challenges you is if he pre-jumps the read on your flick. Like that's for reference how far away he is.
Yeah.
It's actually a pretty half-decent challenge, because you do get a good recovery here. So I think you just went a little bit too high up on the wall, but it is a difficult read. So this is not dangerous just yet. Nice touch from your teammate. Good flip timing here. All right, so your teammate decides to touch that. You get around the ball.
I really wanted to take it from him to score, because he was...
Yeah. Yeah, he had no play anymore. I think it was just a little bit unfortunate. Like this right here was actually completely unnecessary from your teammate. So he actually slowed down the play inadvertently.
Not idea. Just tried to collect.
Yeah. So same thing here again.
Too far.
Yeah, too far, definitely. But you also want to be here. This is a way better position to be in because you cover your entire net. So if let's say you get that freak challenge, like you see how your teammate's coming from the mid boost for this challenge. If he loses that 50, it goes straight to your net. So saving the ball like this is going to be very difficult. Like you're putting yourself in a position where you have to do more mechanics just to actually be able to touch the ball. And then the problem is that if you touch the ball, you're not necessarily getting possession back. So that's why also for 50-50,
it makes the
playing
good touch way harder. That's a lot of the problems I have is like I try for weight. Like sometimes if I go up an aerial like backwards or something, I'm trying so much for a good touch, I just miss.
Yeah, it's good patience. It's good that you left the mid boost. Nice try. It's a difficult shot. I think to make your life a little bit...
the power I wanted.
Yeah.
I should have air rolled to the left instead of going upside down.
Yeah, that as well. But the one other really small thing is for this shot specifically, you should be going a slight bit more to the left to line it up because you want to be hitting this part of the ball. So when it's dropping like really slow like this, so if you let the ball... just do its thing while you move a little bit more behind it, you get access to all these angles. So like the way you're driving into the ball, it's like a really nuanced thing, but you're essentially where you're scoring is
for myself. Yeah.
But with how you're traveling to the ball, you can't get top right 70 miles per hour from this position.
Yeah.
This rotation's a lot better. Nice try. It's a difficult play. I respect it. I think you just maybe jumped. You could have jumped a little bit earlier, and then maybe ground pinch it with a flip or something. Like you're gonna force it into the corner and not gonna get immediate possession.
Yeah, I tried to get one of those like air roll catch touches in the air. I'm just not good at them yet because that's like more advanced than I'm used to.
Yeah. It's gonna be dicey because your teammate's gonna whiff. That's fine. Nice way to play around your teammate. Yeah, difficult shot. I would say in terms of in terms of risk, I don't know about shooting this because the problem is that the ball's gonna center. This is like a situation where I would probably go for it if I was behind and low on time. I feel like because we kind of saw how your teammate was moving that it probably needs boost. So I'm gonna see if we get to the right part here. So you go for this challenge here. Use a lot of boost on that challenge. I don't think he gets the corner boost there, and then he messes up his recovery. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that if I had to guess, he's 40 or less boost right now.
Yeah,
0 even.
0. Yeah. No, I shouldn't have gone for that shot.
Yeah, it's like the thing is you have to score this because like now this is going to happen every single time. So that's one of the nuances that is if you get good at that read. Oh, nice shot. If you get good at that read, you're conceding less goals like that. Like it's your responsibility as someone who is not incredibly more mechanical than the people that he's playing with to have a better tab on the game state. Yep. So you can call it game sense or whatever you want, but in this specific case, it's the game state. We saw how our opponent was challenging, how our teammate was challenging, what kind of balls he went for.
He was awkward, and so just buy him time.
Just buy him time.
Yeah.
So if anything, double tap would in that corner play would have probably been a safer option. But this shot was pretty nice. We can take a look at this again. It comes off your teammate's 50-50, I think. Yeah.
Yep.
And then very nice double tap. I really like double jump shots.
Yeah, I'm starting to use them a lot more.
Very nice kickoff. Just don't go for this. Nice shot from teammate. But this is fine though, because like your teammate gets a really good recovery, you get the boost. So one of the players is really low, which I think is dry or decry, whatever he's called. I think this movement back could just be a little bit faster. Like I would use the full boost. I know you got bumped earlier, but I think right here you want to be full boosting to threaten a bump and steal the mid boost. I think that's like the micro objective for the salvaging this play. Really good touch from your teammate. It's good positioning here. Just be careful for the demo. Yeah, nice. Just good patience overall. Don't go for this because you're not ready.
Yeah, I know. I was halfway through the aerial. I was like, I've made a mistake.
Yeah. I think that where you shot yourself in the foot is you did not maintain neutral position here. I think if you had more neutral position here, it's easier for you to react to how your teammate touches it and go for the ball faster because like you're doing a lot of swerving.
Yeah.
Because I can see where you're coming from in terms of thinking, oh, he might just hit it back into the corner. But in a lot of cases, though, people just go for the pass here. And the way I go about passes in these situations is I have like a zone of confidence where I say, okay, my teammate has to pop this ball off the backboard a certain amount for me to be willing to go for this because I'm committing as last man. So if this ball does not, let's say, get past this pad in front of the net or something, that's not good enough for me because it's just too high risk.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then my recovery was bad because I knew this was cool.
Yeah. So we're back to 4-4.
Exactly.
It's fine. Ooh, that's
That was
fine.
really bad touch.
This should have. We'll say that this is a ghost goal, as Flakes would say.
Yep.
Yeah. So this positioning is good.
The game was closer than the score indicated because of, again, diamond level defense.
Yeah. So the most important thing is just check how your opponent is recovering here, and don't instantly go for the ball. And if you're gonna go for the ball, what I prefer doing, I guess it's a bit too situational to just say you should always do this, but I try to cut less into the ball. And I try to, like, if I take, let's say, this line, what I try to do is I'll orient my car this way for this. So I get a weak side touch, and then my recovery is good enough to follow it. Because we want to pop it into the corner either way. And if we kind of fly with the ball sideways, then we're going to recover here. And again, single jump is the key.
And in the heat of the moment, I wasn't exactly where I thought I was. So I thought I was going to hit it more on the other, towards my backboard, a touch, and it just wasn't. But yeah, my teammate did not stay calm.
It's good patience here. Nice touch from the opponent. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good pass.
Good kickoff once again. Is your kickoff like this most of your games, where you're generally just above average?
Yeah, I do. I can do very, very consistent speed flips most of the time.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, and then I would say for some of the longer kickoffs, for finding the technique, like this one is one of the most difficult kickoffs in the game.
It is.
So for those that are at least interested in getting better at this specific kickoff, you do left speed flips?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is like your weak side kickoff.
Yep. Yeah, it's the hardest one.
Yeah, so what you want to try to do is you want to cut a little bit more towards behind the pad, and then you want to jump and flip and clip the pad midair. That's generally the best way to go about this. So you don't drive into it and then jump and flip. You have to clip the pad midair. Because like you're still kind of clipping it on the ground.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The rule of I like this. You identified that your teammate got demoed and you didn't commit, but then unfortunately you commit right there.
Yep, I did.
Like,
it was also 5 seconds left, and I was just like, yeah, whatever. I will admit to just being like, fuck it.
Yeah. So all in all, definitely a pretty solid game on your end. I think the shooting is there, and I think if we try to dissect where you could make some improvements, is working a little bit more on the line work of like pathing yourself in such a way that you're going to whiff the ball, but then allow yourself to get access to the flip, like the translation of the flips to get more wide shots. It's like I think a bad habit that people have for shooting is they're obviously really good at tracking the ball in Champ 3 and following it, but you have to intentionally find an angle where you're going to slightly whiff it to make sure that you get access to the angle. Because you see like how I whiff it there, and all of a sudden the net is in front of my face. So it's like it's going to be like the same thing here again. If I whiff it like this, the net is accessible with a flip.
Right. That makes sense.
So you just want to intentionally set it up in such a way that you're going to slightly whiff the ball. The flip will do all the work for you. It's like for reference, like this is how much translation you get on some of these like side flips and diagonal flips, which is a lot, and you can't really see it midair because of like when you're doing it with ball cam on, it's a lot harder to see how much that flip is contributing to a lot of the movement that you're going for. But yeah, like you're not going to get those weird angle shifts if you drive to where the ball is currently going. So like you'd have to do it like this.
Yeah, you want to be off and hold the flip longer and
Yeah.
use, like understanding it's not pre-flipping obviously, but it's like in
No,
between the ball's next to me and I'm hitting it, it's going to go the exact direction that it's currently pointing. It's like giving that second option of like being able to adjust where I'm touching the ball and with which part of my car by being slightly off and using more regular air roll.
Yeah, and one other thing as well is the when do I go for a shot. So there's a few times where if your teammate is like really awkward, it's fair enough if you're 100% convinced in the heat of the moment, okay, I can actually score this, I'm confident in my shooting ability, then go for it. But then if you score, you can't. If you get scored on because you miss, you can't complain.
So and that is a lot of how I get scored on is like a squeaky shot that goes in front of the net and they just bang it directly from defense. From their net to ours with love.
I'm thinking from some other things that we saw in the replay. We addressed the shooting part. Oh yeah, tighter rotations again. Give yourself the option to cut. I think what you did do though is you did it more towards like the second half of the game because I saw you go for like these more aggressive infield rotations rather than going wide. But giving your teammates space, all it means is just to the point where they don't have to worry that you're going to double commit, and also that they don't have to worry about getting bumped, so that it doesn't like mess up their shot or anything. That's all it means to give space to your teammate. As long as they're just in a position where they don't have to like second guess what they're doing, that's more than enough space.
And it takes me a little bit to get like obviously the first part of the game was just awkward. Like I know there's like a couple outplays like early on that gave us the lead, and then like a bunch of awkward stuff that they got it back, and it's like it takes me a little bit, especially without comms, depending on who I'm playing with, to like play correctly. And I think one of the things that I don't do is I play like I'm trying to figure out like what my opponent is gonna or my teammate is gonna think about the way I'm playing, and I don't want to be like too ball chasey kind of thing, and so like it just like it's in my head a bit.
Oh, so am I correct in understanding that you're talking about mix-ups, like how you adjust your playstyle to like condition your opponent?
Yeah. Well, no, to my teammate. It's like it's like because like most of the games I lose are because I'll miss like something or I'll make like a bad play and then they forfeit. So like when I solo queue or like going with randoms or someone I don't play with a lot, I'll play a lot more passive. And then not do as much cuts, and then if I get comfortable with them, then I start doing what I did in like the second half of the game, and play more with like IM speed, because I can go like a lot faster than I normally like would, particularly in like a lot of these games. Like there's the other replay send as an option. I played like it was my first game of the day, so I didn't like have some bad experiences trying to get the clips for this, and so like by the time we did this review, I had like already had like 2 GCs that like 7-1, and like my teammates were like toxic as hell, even though like I overall gained MMR, but like my play style in the first game and then in this game is like the first game I started off massively speed and won like super easily. And then like as it gets through the day, I actually start playing worse, more conservative and like not going for stuff.
Yeah. I think, though, what you did touch on that's really good is that I would agree with your analysis that it is, generally speaking, in a ranked game, it's more important to read how your teammate plays than how your opponents play. I would say, like, the opponent stuff is, like, you pick up... I would say the most important thing is, like, how does your opponent challenge? Like, are they always rush challenging, or are they, like, baiting you with fakes? I think that's, like, the opponent habits I would look up on. But stuff that I would pay attention to from what my teammate is doing is, does my teammate always back off when he, let's say, doesn't get the play that he's looking for? So, like, let's say he tries to go for a shot. Does he just always go for the mid boost instantly after that play, regardless of how my pressure is on the play? Because you want to find those people that you want to look for, to see if your teammate is the type of person that values pressure over boost, but also understands that when you have a good play, because then those are the people where you can tell yourself, I might be able to pass this guy because he'll be where I think he should be.
Yeah, and that was my problem with like this teammate particularly is like I could tell he was cheating because of how often like the mid boost is gone, but I didn't really do a good job of like checking back when I'm just driving slowly with no boost, of like seeing where he was and like what he was doing on kickoffs, because obviously I'm beating some of them. And so like when I win the kickoff towards their side of the field, I try to get like the mid boost. And like if I play with Doc or someone that's a little higher ranked, like I always generally have that boost. But normally if I play with solo queue teammates, that boost is always gone, and it's like not what I'm used to. And so I have to like try to reimagine what I'm doing. And it's like a lot of the times I didn't really know what he was doing, not because he was doing something wrong, but like I wasn't also paying attention. And like I said, that right stick of like observing the parts of the play I'm not involved in.
Yeah.
So how do I get to
GC? Sorry?
So how do I get to GC?
I would say for where you're at right now is that, like, I think the thing I majorly highlighted is be really careful of when you're actually going to commit for the play. I would say refine your shooting technique, both in terms of like what you do as habits to actually get consistency on your shots. So like try to avoid doing those upside down stuff. Like that upside down stuff just looks really cool, and that's about it. I've tried making it work for shooting, and I can tell you after over 1,000 hours of trying it, it does not work for shooting.
Yeah.
No, like sometimes you can get height off of it, but it's really inconsistent. So like the way you get height off of it is by let's see if I can get it. You have to like be really low on the ball, so you can't do this really where you're hitting. You can't be on the same level as the ball like this. Like this just does not work really. But you have to intentionally be lower on the ball to the point where you're almost going to whiff it if you just keep flying straight.
You basically have to pre-flip it.
Yeah, that as well. Because what you want to be doing with the pre-flip, as Fallen said, is you want to be hitting it at that 90-degree point. So like when 90 degrees of your flip has passed, you're going to be tipping it with the nose of your car. And that's like really the only way you get a lot of height. The more consistent way to just get height on the ball is like that.
It's also much easier. Yeah, I make things hard on myself sometimes. I guess so one of the things I run into on the kickoffs that's bad is that like I obviously win a lot of them, especially if I'm playing against even like higher ranked people. I work with Flame on the not kickoff where like when both people speed flip, you purposely flip to the outside so it pinches off the wall. Like the ones kickoff. And so like I have like a pretty decent ones kickoff, but like in twos specifically, like obviously there's someone back to do that. I don't know what to do as much when I've beaten it and I don't have that boost. And it's like, do I just circle back and grab pads and stay in the play? Because if I win the kickoff and there's like no mid boost, it's like finding that balance of like trying to make sure I'm not like super low. So if like my teammate, like, I guess that's just like a lack of trust in the teammate, but like I don't want them to like get absolutely blown out and then me having like no boost trying to defend some like shot that's probably also not going to happen now that I'm thinking about it, speaking about it. And it's like, would you just recommend like the higher percentage success rate is just to stay in the play and just ignore the boost?
So the best way I can answer it, because it's something I think you could benefit in your play, is because I'm pretty sure you are a software engineer. Is that correct?
I am. Yes.
Yeah. So like there like you have this whole like logical process of how you execute certain things in code, and there's a similar thing with that in Rocket League where it's a lot of it is flowchart based. So the flowchart is somewhere along the lines of does my teammate cheat or go for boost? Like that's the first step of the flowchart. Where am I recovering on the kickoff? What is the second man doing? Is like second man cheating or going for boost? Like those are all parts of your flowchart that you have to consider in terms of min-maxing your option. And so like that's just how I do a lot of the kickoff stuff. For me, it's just a flowchart.
Yeah, it's like the red light, green light, but like more of like a meta, like rather than just like should I go for it or not? It's like should I go for this thing on the map or not? It's like a second level of that, I guess.
Yeah, and so if you're, and in a lot of cases, I would say if we take some of the kickoffs that we saw in your replay, in a lot of cases, I would either try to get at least one pad, pressure the ball, fake the opponent out, or go for the shot, or just steal the corner boost. So again, it depends on that flowchart, because if they go for the corner boost instead of cheating, well, yeah, then it's obviously not possible to sometimes get the.
But going for my back boost is pretty useless because then I'm so far. Because best case scenario, I'm in a 2v1, which is always the most fun.
Yeah, and in most cases as well, with your kickoff, how much better it is than the people in your rank is you're almost always recovering on the opponent's half. Like, you're recovering somewhere here, usually, on the opponent's half. So you're not really in a position to just back off. And as long as you're able to get one pad, you can do quite a lot with that, with a lot of the sidewall rebounds. So I think one thing that you can work on a bit more, specifically to maximize your kickoff, is get better at the jump timing, depending on which part of the kickoff you're on. Because like the most important thing with how fast your kickoff is that you recover enough so that the suspension doesn't mess up your jump. Because like you want to think of the suspension as like a kind of timeout.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like it doesn't hard time out your jump to the point where you can't jump, but it does mess up your single jump. Yeah.
It makes it much lower.
So that's why it's like especially for that which kickoff is it? For these kickoffs, that's why it's so important to jump and clip the boost, because that way you land as you're gonna hit that one pad there in front of the ball, and when you're landing there, then the suspension will not mess up your jump anymore. That's why it's so important to not do that. And then what you want to get better at is getting comfortable with the right jump and flip timing. So like you want to just do cookie cutter kickoff, which is jump and flip pretty much as you're going to make impact on the ball. And then from there, you see, oh, this guy, he's like a good half or full second slower than me on the kickoff. Now, probably a half second or something.
Probably,
but in that case, you can single jump into it and then just delay your flip a tiny bit. And then you're going to force it more towards the sidewall. And then from there, you potentially can go for that open net or punish the opponent that went for corner boost.
Yeah.
So you see, so you saw where I landed there? Like, so I land somewhere here.
Much more time.
Yeah, and you tend to land about there, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, just flip earlier there. It's easier to map out on the die, especially on the diagonal kickoffs, because you just like win, go over, pad, flip. This is a much easier thing to like keep in my head. But I do miss diamond, just being able to score on speed flips just every kickoff, just to shoot them.
Well, I mean, you're almost in a position where you actually can in Champ 3.
Probably. It's just, yeah, I guess I could. I haven't tried it in a long time.
Because I think, like, let's say based on what I saw with how relatively consistent the technique is, you're top 10% in terms of kickoff easily.
Yeah.
And so if you
that's what I work on.
And you work on some of the stuff that I mentioned, like in terms of like the jump and the flip timing, for the actual getting to the ball, and then the jump and the flip timing when you make impact, learning how to read and punish bad kickoffs. Like that's just going to give you so much free goals. Like I'm not going to say it's free GC, but it's close to free GC. And then you're just going to struggle a bit against the people that have good kickoffs and low GC.
Exactly. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think I need to work on that, and I think I need to work. So I'm going to try like the air roll shot training packs, and then shadow defense on like aerials, because I think we didn't happen as much, but like part of my positioning is fear of like having to aerial backwards with like ball cam facing my net, just because I don't fly that way as much, I guess, because it's not how rings maps works either, and so it's like that. I'm much more uncomfortable flying backwards, I think, like everyone else. So probably just like this, while you suck shadow defense, but like a harder version of that. If you have a recommendation.
I have a recommendation, but it's not actually for shadow defense.
Yeah, I guess I could use like I do the Paquito redirects. But
yeah, so there's this one training pack. So stuff like this.
You'll probably want to reset your stream.
Yeah, your Discord's is blurry again.
Oh, whoops! I don't want.
I keep checking that it's on Rotterdam.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Discord just does this to make sure that you buy Nitro or something.
I think it does.
But yeah, so like some things that you can kind of work on if you want to get better at like shadow reads is working on stuff like redirects and double taps where you're in front of the ball, because like it's a kind of like timing game, because I think like the thing that people struggle with shadowing is that, like, let's say you're doing this. So a lot of people will hit the front of the ball and then they concede because obviously they didn't push it around.
Yeah, you would hit under it.
Yeah, you want to hit under it, but behind it as well. So like you can do like these kind of training packs where you have these shots where the whole goal of the ball the whole goal is to let the ball cross in front of you and hit the part of the ball that you literally can't see until the ball wraps around on your screen. So like,
yeah, that makes sense.
Like a lot of people, what they do is they treat the ball too much like a 2D object. because it is a 2D representation on your screen, but it is a 3D object in the physics game. So like so many people will just like approach the ball this way, and then it doesn't really work. But then all of a sudden you start delaying it because you're hard focusing on the part that you can't see, that all of a sudden you can kind of start to visualizing it. And so that becomes easier in shadow defending, because like let's say if I'm shadow defending this, what I'm doing is I'm aiming for that bottom part of the ball usually. So I'm not aiming for what I see in front of me. I'm intentionally aiming for what is something that I can't see.
And that's usually when I miss, is because I'm trying to get the like I said, that good touch, and then I like focus so much on it that a lot of times I just don't hit it, which is worse. But well, sometimes worse.
Yeah. So the best tip for like getting comfortable with shadow defending is just like have this part of the ball that you're always aiming for, and also with some people, maybe like keeping your flip and single jumping also helps, because you can always delay your double jump if you really need it as a backup plan. But like just getting comfortable with saying, yeah, this is my objective. I have to aim on that part of the ball to make sure that I pop it nice and high towards the backboard, and then I'll see it from there.
Makes sense.
Cool. Do we have any questions from chat?
I do not see any questions from chat, but I'll give them a couple seconds to decide if they have any. Loomis just says, in review, great kickoff, horrible touch, great passes by your opponents.
Loomis is the king of salt. I like it.
I only got 2 demos, so I think he's just mad at me.
Yeah, it has to be 7 demos or more. What is execution?
I need
to
7? Yeah, and that's the thing I like. That's like really weird. Is like I don't go for demos and bumps as much because I play a lot of privates, and I consider it rude in privates, and I don't want to make people mad. Well, I don't mind if people do it to me. I guess it's just like. But yeah, no questions from chat.
All right, excellent.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for doing all this. Also, one more shout out is we will be doing one more for the C3 and GC Plus replay review, and then I think we'll be more or less done with the coaching stuff for the time being, unless there's other stuff that will go on in the future. Make sure, and I think we're going to be doing it in 1 or 2 weeks. I think it just depends on the schedule.
We'll have to work out the timing with the people. We'll have a little more time, and then obviously the 1v1s tournament.
That's going to be very exciting.
So we'll have to schedule it around that as well, obviously, because I think you're casting. So
yeah,
and
I will be casting.
So
I think
that would be hard to do.
I think it's the 18th, if I remember correctly. So stay tuned for that. If we're lucky, we can do the last coaching or / replay review next week Sunday, and then we'll be having a lot more content coming your guys' way.
Yep. And then someone said watch teammates more than your opponents ?
Yes, absolutely. I think that because if you think of it this way, like so, imagine like let's say an AJ or something like that is playing in let's say a GC lobby. What doesn't matter is what the opponents do, because AJ can always outplay those opponents. But what he can't figure out is what his teammate's going to do, because his teammate might do more damage than the opponents. Because like if AJ has boost and is on the ball, well, yeah, he's always going to have control of the play. But as soon as his teammate is a part of that factor, that's where he has to like really play around it. So he has to pick up on the habits of the teammate, because that's more important. Because that way you can do like risk reward analysis. So like let's say your teammate constantly rotates to the corner boost instead of keeping 50 boost and staying in the play. Then you know that if you miss a shot, your teammate's going to be 2v1 because they're that greedy of a player. So like those are the habits that are more important, because then you can do risk reward calculations more effectively. And then like in the replay review we watched from me, like my teammate, like there was obviously the one where like I had gone up for the aerial, went around and like went down to catch the ball again and like shoot over the last guy, and he had like decided he wanted to be best friends and slide tackle me. And then the second one where he like, I was going up for an aerial and then I had to get back down real quick. Like understanding that your teammate's possibly going to do that might change what balls you do go for, not more than the opponent. Yes, for me. Because at the end of the day, all you need is one goal to win. So in most of your games, you can probably just play the good old fun Rocket League that you're normally used to. It doesn't matter what level you are. But there will be like in those 20 to 30% of your games where your teammate will be considerably a detriment, or you don't mesh with them. So like that's where you really have to have that habit of learning how to read what your teammate does and what you can and can't do. If you care about winning, if you just care about having fun and just doing your own thing, then it doesn't matter what your teammate does.
And that's what happens to me a lot. Is it's sometimes like I have a very fast play style, at least I think for my rank, because like even in those replays I was going slower than I normally would. So if I play with someone that's like more like passive and controls, wants to catch the ball and put it on top of their car all the time, I struggle more because I like feel like I need to be doing something. I'm just like pathing in circles to keep momentum while I'm watching them, see if they can flick it over the last guy or not.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks so much again. Appreciate it.
Yep.
And
thanks for having me
you
on,
enjoy
and
your
thanks
rest of
for
your
joining us, Denomster.
Definitely
yeah,
appreciate it.
thank you to Twitch chat for hanging out with us, and yeah, join the Discord, join the leagues. As Loomis said, we've got a couple coming, the 3v3 and 1v1. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more of the smaller events as we get people like the like random Friday stuff with crazy modifiers and stuff, and maybe some Bacchus mods streams as well later on. So yeah, feel free to jump in, and we'll see you around.